How's it going?
Good. Amazing.
I'm kind of having a little bit of an issue. I've been freaking out because I've been seeing online all of my friends ranting and raving about how weed's going to be legal soon, and they're super excited about it. I don't know if it's just because I'm opposed to change, but I don't like it, right? Because the way things are right now, everything is already great, kind of illegal, but nobody cares about it. So we go to our dealer, if we buy weed, we go home, we hide, and we don't bother anyone. I spent the last 6 months in Vancouver, and there's dispensaries literally on every corner of the street, and everybody just smokes crack instead. I don't like that. Like, as weed becomes legal, people get weirder and weirder and weirder because the strains are stronger and stuff. Like here, if after the show, I were to go light a joint, I'd have 3 new friends before it was over. And over there, I smoked a joint and forgot how to be a real person. It was true. I was in a dispensary and I smoked a joint. And I'm normally a cat person. And he walked up to me and I tried to pet him and he ignored me. So I had a panic attack. I ran outside. I looked how tall the buildings were and I cried. Do you know how embarrassing it is to spend 2 weeks smoking weed and dehydrating every time? Oh, it was awful. It was awful. But then after 2 weeks, I was kind of became acclimatized, and my new friends were like, hey, you can smoke weed now without having a panic attack or anything. We should go into the woods and do some acid or do some mushrooms on the beach. No! I agreed to doing that one time, and I almost accidentally joined a sex cult. And you guys are like, oh, cool, sex cult. It wasn't like Eyes Wide Shut. There was no Tom Cruise, like no cool things like mask or murder. Nope, just hippies and HPV. That was super fun. And with the rise of smoke and weed and dispensaries everywhere, there's also a rise in stoner spirituality. I don't know if you know what that is or if you've been to a dispensary or anything like that. But people think they're doctors when you go into a dispensary. And you always hear the same stuff. You go up and you ask for advice and they're like, Otter, I know what it is. For myself, Saturn's third moon Titus and ascending in Libra and in retrograde in Capricorn. And that's why I have gonorrhea. No. I ain't no space doctor, but I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. I spent a lot of time away, and I'm really glad to be back, and mainly because it's really fun to have a place to call your own again, right? To have a place to sleep. I'm especially grateful when I get to come home after a show and find out that my house hasn't been towed. For those of you who are still in the dark, don't understand what I mean, it's like, I don't know if you've been on Facebook recently, but there's this new fad of tiny homes that people are doing, and I have a tiny home. Mine's just a 2008 Mazda 3. There are perks. There are perks. People are like, oh, it must be sad living in your car. But no, it's cool. Sometimes good things happen. I especially like when I get stopped by the police and they look into all the clutter and they go, if I search your car, am I going to find anything? I then get to cry and go, yeah, everything I own, I live in my car. There are awful things about living in your car. More specifically is, one time a girl messaged me after a show and she was like, hey, I thought you were really funny. I think you should come pick me up and we'll go back to your place. And I had to ignore that message, obviously, right? I can't have this girl know that if I go pick her up, she's now in my place. That's super awful. Spending a lot of time in your car means you have a lot of time to think. And I realized recently that I was a little jaded, and I realized that when I was driving by a sign that said visually impaired person, my first thought was like, why would you tell me that? It's like, now if I hit someone, I'm for sure driving away. All right, we're all on board. Sick. It just makes sense, right? Anywhere else you hit somebody with your car and the police show up and go, can you please give me a description of the vehicle? They can give a detailed description of your vehicle. You hit somebody on this street and the police go, can you give me a description of the vehicle? All this person can say is, it hurt. And in my case, they'll never assume that he was hit by a house. So that's rad. I have a buddy of mine who's always after me because he's in love. And he's like, Otter, you need to be in love. And I was like, I don't really know what that's about. And he goes, or I asked him specifically, I was like, what do you like so much about your significant other? He goes, I just can't see myself with anybody else. Try harder. Are you kidding me? I pictured myself with my ex, a barista, and the queen on the walk here. And that's how you know how to do it. No, for real. Like, the last girl I dated was literally specifically just because we liked smoking weed and watching fail videos on YouTube. The only thing we had in common. And like her favorite ones were just watching videos of kids getting hurt, which was super fun for me because she had a 4-year-old, which is bananas. And it was super fun. And like, she would always try to teach them things by showing them YouTube videos and stuff. And like, I grew up in a different time, so like, I'm more of a hands-on learner. So whenever she's like, do you want to hang out with them? I have to figure out different things to do, right? So like, mainly, he'll go outside and he'll play with sticks and leaves, and I'll smoke cigarettes and play Lego on the deck. That's how my dad taught me, right? one specific day, we had been watching Spider-Man cartoons all morning, and I was super excited. We were outside and we were playing, and he had an inflatable pool off of the deck. And he goes, Otter, I think I can make it. I think I can jump. And like a rational adult would be like, don't do that, you'll get hurt. Me, I went, do it. I just wanted to see what was gonna happen. He tried so hard. He took a couple steps back, and he ran forward, and he jumped. Didn't even come close. It was amazing. He started crying, I started laughing. It was a great time. His mom slid open the door. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm teaching him physics. She got really mad at me until I showed her that I'd filmed it. She loved it. It was great. It was fun. I spent a lot of time traveling the West Coast, and like all of the provinces in the West Coast are really fun, except for Alberta. And I know you shouldn't make your opinion on a province based solely on a Greyhound experience, but that's what I'm gonna do. I had to take a bus from Edmonton to Calgary, and I left at 7 in the morning, and I had a show that night, and I was like, I'm just gonna sleep, and everything is gonna be great, until this guy who walked on, who was admittedly more face tattoo than person, in which I realized this is going to be the longest 19 hours of my life. Not only that, but he walked to the back of the bus, and he sat down right beside me, like cuddle puddle area. We took off, and 10 minutes into the ride, he hit me and he goes, hey, got any cocaine? As if I was gonna bust down the tray table, bust out lines, and be like, whoa, road trip, new friends! Look at me, I don't have any cocaine to share. Oh, man. He had us covered. It was sweet. He pulled out a 2-liter bottle of Tropicana, which I was like, that's more reasonable for 7 a.m. And then he was slamming it back, looking like he was trying to cure scurvy. And then I realized it was just vodka, no orange juice. As this guy got drunker and drunker and drunker, he realized that he wanted us to be friends. And his way of doing that was to tell me his life story, specifically about how he just got out of prison, how he's on the bus to go see his baby mama, who he had met before prison, and then followed that up by telling me about all of the times that he's fornicated on a Greyhound. Ugh. Super gross. I was uncomfortable. I didn't know what to do, so I tried to make a little joke. I was like, hey, I'm glad we're friends now, but I'm definitely not blowing you on this Greyhound. No, guys, I think he thought I was hitting on him because he immediately fell asleep on my shoulder and then slid into my lap. I'm like, I don't know, in this situation, if a grown man's gutturally snoring into your lap, I've been on the road for a long time by myself. I wasn't generally attracted to this guy, but I started getting scared. What are you gonna do? I can't wake him up, startle him, he bites down, now I have an interesting phone call to make. Can't call my mom and be like, hey mom, I'm in a hospital in Alberta. Turns out I'm the second Greyhound beheading on an Alberta Greyhound. All right, love you guys.